Hello, everyone. My name is Tim Mikhelashvili, host of the 4th Annual Medical Innovation Olympics, CEO of Amadev Pharma, which is bringing sports and data science into daily operations of business and life sciences to drive performance, efficiency, and to accelerate innovation. I'm excited about this event, and so should you. We'll explain why. I'm joined here today by a tremendous panel of expert judges, leaders, who are contributing to this movement that we started 4 years ago. Chris Piedmont and John Hemming. Chris, please, again, introduce yourself to our audience who are watching.
Yeah, happy to, Tim. So I'm Chris Piedmont. I'm the managing director of Neoterra Capital. We are an inception stage venture capital firm based out of Austin, Texas. We help start companies in a variety of fields, many of them in the medical device and other, biological and medical related ventures.
Wonderful, John.
Well, I'm from England. I've spent 42 years running companies, and I'm still running companies. I spent 10 years as a member of the UK Parliament, actually on the Regulatory Reform Select Committee, which is relevant to medical regulations as well. And I more recently got into the biohacking world and are looking at things like gene expression and things like that. So I'm very interested in medical development. Obviously, everyone's interested in health. Health is the critical thing for any individual. So I was pleased to participate in the contest last year and get a prize. And this year I'm part of the board and the judging team, which I'm pleased to be doing that as well. And it'll be very interesting to see what new ideas people are coming up with. We only make progress as a society, and obviously I'm in England, you're in America, but it's a global society, and we make progress through new ideas.
Okay.
Absolutely. Well, as you saw from that introductory video, the anticipation is building. The Olympic spirit is in the air. We're approaching the September Olympic trials, the second wave of competitors that will be joining this competition, and also the main event, which takes place October 6th through the 21st. I will take you through the agenda that's now up to date so that you get to meet our lineup of all-star speakers that we have from all over the globe. But because I know a lot of you are watching and considering, why should I attend this particular innovation event? Is this a pitch competition? Is it only for startups? I want to spend a little time to inspire those of you who may be thinking about this to stop hesitation and to start making your ideas count, and to talk a little bit about the formula, a winning formula that we have created over the years for this particular event, and one that you can consider in order to be able to make sure that you're successful, not just innovative, but also that you involve the right people who can accelerate and fuel that success and that innovation. All right. So there was a recent video that a former competitor, John, had shared with me. His name is Nurullah Babidi. I was familiar with Alpine Investors, but I wasn't familiar with its founder, Graham Weaver. Okay. Comes from Ohio, from a relatively average, small town. And he talks about this story in this inspirational video, the last lecture at the Stanford University Graduate School of Business, which I watched. It inspired me so much that I wrote an article about it, and I want to share it a little bit with a clip from it with the competitors here, and those who are watching, because he has a very unique perspective and 4 steps to design what he calls a winnable game, which is, number 1, do something that stirs your blood, that you're passionate about. Number 2, design your own game, your own category. Okay. Play with people you admire. And number 4, play now, because the longer you wait, the more that you progress in your career, the more you start to play it safe. But, you have to aim high. because when you aim too low and you hit the target, right? It doesn't compare with what you're what you can do when you actually have loftier goals, right? Even if you miss, right? And so before I set up this clip real quick, I want to just fast forward through his introduction in this video. Graham Weaver, who's a billionaire investor and who happens to be an athlete, an avid athlete, a rower. He wanted to make his high school team, but he failed to do it. He was cut, and those that were cut were offered to become land warriors, help with the equipment. No one appeared because they were disappointed and frustrated, but him. He went to practice every morning at 6 a.m. Okay, and he began to work out because it stirred his blood to become an athlete. All right, so it just so happened that he was working out with someone. His name is Mike Teddy, who would become a 3-time Olympian, and also later would go on to coach a U.S. rowing gold medal Olympic team, 3 in 3 Olympics. All right. So that's where we're going to pick up this clip for 1 minute. And then I want to share some pearls that Chris and John are going to share in commentary as well. So, okay. Here goes.
But then 3 weeks in, we're sitting in the locker room, and I think Mike's curiosity just got the better of him. And he's like, "Who are you?" And I said, "I'm Graham. I'm a land warrior. Who are you?" And he said, "Well, I'm Mike." And he said, "Well, Graham, what are you doing down here every morning? By the way, I also see you sometimes in the afternoon practice. Like, what are you doing?" And I said, "What are you training for?" And I said, I'm a land warrior. I'm trying to make the 3rd string novice freshman lightweight team. And he said, "Well, Graham, your form is terrible, but I'll tell you one thing. If you keep training the way that you're training, you'll make the Olympic team." And I remember just this huge surge of energy came into me when this person I've been watching, who was this Adonis of rowing, told me that. I love this quote by Daniel Burham. He says, "Make no little plans, for they have no power to stir one's blood. The first blood that you need to stir is your own." And rowing stirred my blood. And being an Olympian, or even the idea of being an Olympian, stirred my blood. And so what I knew back then about goal setting, I learned from this guy named Brian Tracy. I would listen to one of his.
Okay. So, that's kind of just the introduction. Okay. What he would end up doing is he ended up making the starting varsity team in his senior year, even though he was cut the first 3 years. And he had one of the best times that he showed in 2,000 meters in rowing. Okay. Now, he happens to run a private equity fund called Alpine Investors that's considered a people first private equity fund, where he is passionate about unlocking people's potential. Okay, and he went through a very difficult time after being on Wall Street, where he didn't have much runway left. Most of his investors had pulled out of his fund during the 2008 Lehman Brothers and that crisis, where the market was down by 40%. And he had to reach back and think, look, what do I need to do that really stirs my blood? And he changed the mission statement for Alpine Investors, and he changed the trajectory of the fund. And so, as you consider those who are watching, how can they make becoming a Medical Innovation Olympian a winning formula for them? Chris, John.
Yeah, I'll be happy to comment on that. I mean, 2 of the things you highlighted in regard to that presentation are very important. One is passion. If you are not passionate about what you're doing, if you don't feel that it's your life purpose, if you're not willing to put in many cases, extraordinary effort that it takes to build a venture, don't do it. You'll be frustrated, you'll be disappointed, and you'll end up going back to what you were doing previously. That passion is essential to success. That passion also creates persistence, which is another element that a good entrepreneur, a good venture leader has to have. Things do not always go well, as indicated by your video here. You will have setbacks. You will be told that you're not good. You'll be told this will never work. You'll be told 1,000 reasons why you're not going to succeed. You have to be able to take those in stride. In some cases, these people, these naysayers, don't have a good solid basis for what they're saying. And there's this element of human nature that sometimes discourages people, wants to discourage people from success. You need to learn to put that aside and continue your persistence in the vision and the dream that you're trying to achieve. Without the passion, without the persistence, it is very difficult to succeed at a startup and any new venture. And that's one of the things, I definitely look for in any entrepreneur that we're going to back at Neoterra Capital.
Thank you, John. Well, you've been an entrepreneur, been part of the Parliament, UK.
Yeah, I've been an entrepreneur for 42 years, which is quite a long time, really. What I think, looking at it from Chris's point of view, very, very similar point of view. If you haven't got the persistence, then you'll give up at the earliest hurdle. And if you haven't got the passion, you're not going to have the persistence, because the persistence requires a sort of an emotional energy to keep driving. And, I've had successes and failures. Most of my failures were electoral, although I had quite a few electoral successes as well. But I keep going. I had a really good gig with my jazz band about 2 weeks ago. That was a really good success. I've had loads of successes. I've had some really good financial successes, but then those aren't always as good as other successes. But if you give up, it's, in a sense, you are your own worst enemy, because you're the person who stops doing things. And if you stop doing things, you're not going to achieve anything. So you've got to keep doing something. Yeah, and you need to learn. And this is where we come back actually to this contest. It's a learning opportunity. It's an opportunity within the medical context of learning what works in what you're proposing and what doesn't work so well in what you're proposing, without costing any large sums of money or any bad consequences. And it can take you further forward. So it's definitely, encouraging people to participate in this is definitely the right thing, because, if you are your own biggest problem. People can complain about what you're doing. They can tell you it's not going to work. But if you get on with it and prove to people you have the answer of some form, but learn subtly until market research is always quite expensive. I take the view the best market research is to try to do something and see how the market responds, because that way you find out actually, where are you in the market. You can spend a lot of money on arbitrary market research that may or may not give you the right answer. But if you actually have a go and people like it, it's going to work. So, yes, persistence.
Yep.
If you don't have the enthusiasm or passion, you'll have difficulty finding the persistence. But persistence, keeping on going. There's various phrases in English, some of which are very rude, but they just keep going.
Yeah. Well, we've kept going. We've kept this meeting going. This competition going, and we've retained that Olympic spirit throughout in a very crowded market of many innovative competitions out there, and we've nevertheless also built a particular distinct character as well. And I can tell you from my personal experience, it has been quite challenging, but it's been incredibly rewarding for me personally as well, because I come away every year from every event, every Medical Innovation Olympics event, thinking there's a lot more I need to learn, number one. And number two, there's a lot more people that I need to, work with and learn from and build relationships, which I've done over the years, to build solutions together in new projects that we're working on now from past winners, competitors, And so, going back to Graham Weaver, we've designed our own category of sorts, right? We're doing something that we love. And I can personally say that I admire both of you and our expert judges and competitors profoundly. All right. So this is a winnable formula that we're just committed to continuing. And we want you to be a part of it. Become Medical Innovation Olympians and champions in healthcare. Okay. We have the people and the platform. Now it's just up to you to take advantage of it. So a little bit about the details that you need to know about. Okay. Here's the website. It's in the comments. Okay. I want to introduce you a little bit to the speakers that you have that you can expect. All right. And the agenda as well, very quickly. Just to touch on the highlights, and I want to welcome any of you to ask questions in the chat here. This is the time to do it. And Chris, John, also, yeah, please feel free to comment. So we'll have our returning speaker, keynote speaker, Chris Cook from Great Britain, double Olympian swimmer, NHS UK consultant, speaks for Microsoft, tremendous motivational speaker. Alex Giorgetti joining us as a world water polo world champion and Olympic silver medalist. We have Hani Lee, Sandra Walker, opening up the ceremony on October 6th. Here are some of our expert panel speakers. Okay, they're industry leaders. They're going to talk about longevity medicine, which is another lofty topic that many of us who are playing in our own category and are, really building this movement globally are passionate about. How can patients actually access innovative medications? Alan Gray and Emily Phillips are going to touch on that. We have a panel with Chris, with Melissa, with Wendy Kapman, and also Eddie Power, talking about AI innovation in health systems, okay, accelerating AI readiness of health systems for AI and technology. So here are some of their competitors without really mentioning everyone here. It's quite a long list and growing one, but these are some of the leaders and innovators and scientists you're going to join. They already participated in the first session in June. And here are our expert judges. Okay. So leaders across different aspects of medical affairs, of healthcare. In medical affairs, investors, venture investors such as Les Funtelider, Irtaza Haider, to join Chris on the investor side. We have a senior program advisor from National Institute of Health, from the government, Ethan Sarnowski, who'll be one of our expert judges. A marketing executive, Bart Zoni, just to name a few. All right. And when you click on the agenda, you'll familiarize yourself more with the flow of the opening ceremony, where a lot of learning is going to take place. This is the kind of setting that's going to be memorable and one that you want to be a part of. Okay, we take strong commitment to doing that. Okay, and to creating that environment for all of you. Now, of September 1st through the 12th, you will be able to also submit your concept or your product for the Olympic trials. All right, so that's where you'll be able to just get to know our expert judges. You'll have only 5 minutes, unlike 10 minutes during the main event, in which to demonstrate your ideas. Okay, and connect with our judges. Okay, you'll be representing your country, your region, as you can see here. It's a very short but important submission form. The link is in the comments. Okay. Where you'll have to choose either a concept or product category. Those are the categories in which prizes will be awarded. Provide your title of the proposal, the rationale, also the this explanation for how your concept or product advances access, quality, and continuity of care, which is a mission of our Olympics. Okay, and then also attach your pitch deck, your any supportive documents that you have. Okay, so the link again is in the comments. Okay, and so the play now, become a Medical Innovation Olympian. We have a strong track record of where previous competitors have taken their ideas, implemented their clinical decision support systems into major national guidelines such as AVO-MD, among many others. So, any final comments from Chris and John, and an invitation, a personal invitation to those who can compete?
Yeah, happy. I strongly recommend anybody who's starting a venture in, pharmaceuticals, in medical devices, in treatment plans, software to help improve the management of healthcare, anything at all in the area of medicine or, bioinformation. You want to participate in this event. You will get to meet all kinds of people that can help you along the way. The competition drives excellence. You will be pushed to improve your presentations, to improve your business plans, and we will help you along the way with that. We will be your coaches while this event is going on, and we'll work with you to put you in a position where you can win this competition, where you can engage with those that will help you, whether it be additional team members, strategic partners, or in the case of Neoterra and some others, capital. So looking forward to it, and looking forward to meeting everyone. If you're considering signing up, do it.
Great. John?
From my point of view, as I say, I've been in business for 42 years, and there weren't opportunities like this 42 years ago. If you're in the medical sphere, the health sphere, and you have a new idea, if you don't have a new idea, I don't know why you're watching this video, but if you have a new idea, do it. Participate. It's just there's no downside and there's a lot of upside. So it's a no-brainer type of decision. And if you can't do that sort of decision, don't participate. But this is a no-brainer. Participate. If you've got a new idea in the health sphere, medical sphere, participate.
Great. Across drugs, devices, diagnostics, med tech, medical affairs, and marketing, I might add. 6 innovation tracks.
It's the medical affairs area, isn't it? It's all of those different things. But you have to have a new idea.
Yep.
And if you haven't not got a new idea, I don't know what you're doing. But there you go.
Sure. Yep. Well, wonderful. Let's finish with some Olympic music to build the anticipation.